I understand the next call is a split call. Call Phil Twyford.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. Yes, indeed, ring the bell, give that member a chocolate fish and please make him sit down. A number of members in this debate have evoked the spirit of Margaret Thatcher, and I actually think that's very, very appropriate that the debate on this beneficiary bashing bill should be dedicated to the spirit of the late Baroness Maggie Thatcher. For it was she, Mr Speaker, who presided over a period of privatisation of state assets, destruction of the welfare state, the smashing of the unions, and in her society she delivered levels of poverty and inequality and social deprivation that hadn't been seen since the 1920s. That was her legacy. Poverty and inequality that had not been seen in her society since the 1920s. And the National Party members on that side of the House are very welcome to wrap themselves in the shroud of Maggie Thatcher, and it's entirely appropriate that this petty, nasty, divisive, punitive little bill that Paula Bennett's brought to the House should be dedicated to the spirit of Margaret Thatcher. Now, Sam Lotoyinga started off his speech by quoting Maggie Thatcher, saying that without economic liberty there would be no liberty. And I sort of agree with that, actually, because if you don't have freedom from hunger, if you don't have freedom from poverty and exploitation, how can you possibly enjoy any other human freedoms? But this bill is not about economic liberty. This is a bill that's based on social obligations that imply that a parent relying on the temporary assistance of the state is a poor parent. It's a bill that imposes obligations of drug testing against the expert submissions that came to Select Committee that said those provisions would do more harm than good. This is a bill, sir, that has work obligations based on the assumption that people who are on benefits do not want to work. This is not a bill that extends economic liberty to the citizens of this country. This is a nasty, punitive, petty little bill. And I wonder, when Paula Bennett is in her political retirement, I wonder if she will look back on this bill with a feeling of shame and disappointment. Is this what she came to this Parliament to achieve? Is this what she came to achieve? Not to develop the potential of our people, not to unleash the creativity of a whole generation of young people in this country, not to empower people, not to step up and wrap around with support services, but actually to punish, to put down and to denigrate. This is a nasty, political, divisive law, and you know it, Minister. And let me give the House some evidence. Let me give you some evidence. I will give some evidence why this bill is a nasty, political, petty piece of politics. Nick Smith resigned last year over the ACC debacle. Within 6 days of that story breaking, the first part of this package was announced. Now, maybe a coincidence. Maybe that's just some random convergence of events. All right, then the Kim.com John Banks. The Kim.com John Banks story broke and the heat was really going on the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister was up to his eyeballs in the Kim.com story. And then what happens? Paula Bennett announces the whole policy around contraception for long-term beneficiaries, all right? And then in June we saw a rash of resignations from the ACC board, a series of revelations about Bronwyn Puller, and Bill English then makes the first of 3 different announcements about drug testing, raised again on the 21st of July, a month later, and re-announced for the 3rd time on the 28th of August. All at the very times that this government was feeling the heat over its own political scandals. And then the police report on John Banks and the .com scandal was released. Coincidentally, Paula Bennett then announces the whole package around social obligations. This is the Minister of cheap, nasty political diversions. That's what's going on, sir. Cynical, manipulative, divisive politics brought to you by the National Party that would rather demonise and stigmatise people who rely on the temporary assistance of the state rather than doing anything about jobs and developing this economy.
Order. I'm calling Mojo Mathis.